Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe below. This video is going to be a little bit different than my typical because we're outside and we are going to take a walk around my garden. You can see my dog over there in the fence. Anyway, we're going to take a walk around. It's mid-July right now, so this is how my garden is looking. We've had some odd weather, some hot days, but a lot of rain. So everything is pretty lush. My grass hasn't been cut in about a week and a half because it's been so rainy, so it's a little tall, but we'll make it through. And here we go. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna turn you guys around so you're not just looking behind me. And we'll start just right here. All right. Alright guys, so this is my backyard. This is where I would leave my house. That's not my car, that's actually my mom's car. And right here is where the dogs usually spend most of their time. It's a 30 by 50 foot fence, fenced in area, which I have to clean and mow, but I'll show you that. They're up at the top of the fence. Come on. There they are. So behind the fence is just a grassy patch. This is our storage shed and house. So we enter the back grass area. And we have a pergola. And we're lucky to have this bank of trees here. Oh, the grass is wet. So we have a nice bank of birch trees, some maple and oak that surround the back of our property. Try to swing you slowly. This is the pergola. So we have seating for a number of people. Some hanging plants here. And everything's looking a little dreary because, like I said, it's been raining quite heavily. Nothing really in this pot. I did have a rose in there, but it didn't last. Same as these two. You can see some violas in this one, and that's the stem of the rose that was in there, and some stuff coming up in this one as well. I'm not sure what. I'm just leaving them go. Here's my other hanging basket. Petunias are starting to open up. Next we have the backyard, or the side yard. This is the west property. Where the dogs are is on the east side of the house. So this is where the main gardens are, is on the west. So let's start at the back. We have Supertunia Vista Fuchsia. And, oh, I always forget what I planted, the white one. Let's see. It is Supertunia Trailing Silver. I'm glad I kept the tag to that because I can never remember. And brightly colored bench and little birdhouse. This is a mixture of trees here. We have two birch. You can see the white trunks, one right here and one here, and then maple in between. This pot is identical to the first one, so Supertunia Vista Fuchsia and the Trailing Silver. I have a bird feeder in the shape of a lighthouse, which I need to refill. Next we have, against the back tree line, I've planted hostas, and believe it or not, the rabbits and the raccoons have been feasting on these. You'll see there's leaves missing. And you'll see red bits on my hosta. That's cayenne pepper and chili peppers. Try to keep those animals away. But I have 11 or 12 hostas planted here. And different varieties. Probably hear the neighbor whippersnipping from time to time. Then we have the last hosta here. This is a woolala, so it should fill in this whole area once it actually starts to grow. Another lighthouse. This one lights up. Dappled willow. This area of the property stays very wet, so I have a willow here. And I'll probably get a second willow to go where the lighthouse is, because these grow about 6 feet. They're a shrub, not a tree. Next, keeping in theme with the wet property, we have a dogwood. This is a silver dogwood, and it did have blooms early in the season that were white, but as you can see, they've aged nicely here. And I do have a second dogwood on the property as well. This is my forsythia coming back. It's quite small right now. You can see it right beside the light here, the solar light. I put that there so I don't run over this with the lawnmower. And if any of you watched my video about the garden going in, you would know that this mound here used to have, this mound used to have 4 silver maples that came down during Hurricane Fiona. But I've planted it up with strawberries. You can see some of the strawberries are developing there. And I'm just gonna let these do their thing this year. Let the birds have them. I just want them to fully develop. I think I planted 27 and I have roughly, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So roughly 17 survived. Next, I have to come out and clip the top of this off. It didn't make it. It's quite dead. But I'll clip it off to where the leaves are stopped here. That's an apple tree. We have a stilby. Looking very good. And this is my main flower garden. So first we have some violas that have just seeded themselves there. This here is money plant, I think it's called. So I planted this out really early in the spring and it died right back, but it is coming back, which is nice. This is a blue hydrangea. I think it's called Let's Dance. We have a juniper. They've all died back. I have to come deadhead these. That's asters. A beautiful lavender in full bloom right now. This is a Little Kim lilac. This is an Incredible hydrangea. This is an echinacea. The black flies are getting bad. I think this is winter creeper. Not sure what this one is. is starting to bloom. We have the lilies, the water lilies, I think they're called. They're perennial in our area. This is a burning bush. So from the burning bush, we have our 2 different types of phlox. And behind the phlox, I have 3 rows of Sharon hibiscus. And facing the road, I have supertunias lining the whole bed. Next we have 4 hollies. And these were really quite bad. You can see this one is just coming back. And we have a red climbing rose here against the arbor. So that's the arbor in full. And this is a climbing rose as well, but this is a rose that didn't make it. So I have to replace this one. Alright, so this is the front of the house. I have 3 pots. There's some heuchera, some, I can't remember what this is. I have 3 different dahlias. And these here are Shasta Daisy. This is my small box of begonias and coleus. And this is mock orange. Okay, so now we will enter my vegetable garden. So many of you would have seen me start a little bit of this over the winter. But first we'll start with these 4 pots. So each of these have 4 different kinds of dill. So each one has a different type of dill. And I'm not big into dill. I just wanted to grow it to see what they looked like. So you'll come along with me for that. Here we have parsley and summer savory, oregano, French thyme, just a regular thyme, rosemary and basil. And I have my broccoli, and in behind the broccoli, because it's been so wet, I've had to stake up my corn. Let's see, is there any broccoli in here? Not quite yet. This bed is all peppers, so the majority of this is just green peppers. Do we have anything? We have a few things happening here. And at the end of this bed is a red pepper and jalapeno. Next we have, next to the peppers, I have yellow onion. This is all the same kind of onion. Beside the corn and broccoli bed, I have my tomatoes. So I have 2 different kinds of tomatoes. I have a beefsteak and a yellow tomato, and they are putting on beautiful blooms. They're ready to start setting fruit. I have carrots in the center. Not many germinated, unfortunately, but that's the way it goes. Another beefsteak and yellow tomato here, and again, they are setting their blooms, so I expect fruit very soon. In front of that, I do have some marigolds down there. In a few of the beds, I have marigolds. Try to have some pest control. Here I have 2 zucchinis and 2 butternut squash. So this is the first zucchini plant here. You can see it's absolutely massive. And second zucchini plant. And then here are the two. You can barely see them in there. Got ants everywhere. I have two butternut squash. Next we have the peas. These are sugar snap peas. You can see the stalks are really nice and they're just starting to bloom, so they'll be setting their peas, I expect, very soon. And next to my peas I do have some beans. Swing slowly to this next bed, which I have celery, lettuce, and cucumber, and red onion. I have 12 red onion. And those wispy ones here, they are white Spanish onion. In front of them, I have 2 watermelon plants. And the ants have been loving these pumpkins. Look at the damage on that. Oh, it's disheartening. But there are 1, 2, 3, 4, around 6 pumpkin plants. Next to this bed, I have my raised strawberry bed, which is doing very well for fruit. Look at these. They're not ready yet, but doing very well. Next to that, I have a sweet potato vine that came from a tuber I saved last year. I have 4 Scotia tomatoes. And in the back here are bushing onion or green onions, and they are massive. Give you an idea with my hand. They're roughly 2 feet or just over 2 feet tall. I've already harvested one. And in this bed, before the tomatoes were in here, was garlic, and I've harvested the garlic. I got 5 heads. And finally, we have my most prolific bed, and this is my potatoes. So there's 2 kinds of potatoes, a golden and a russet. The taller ones are the russet, the shorter ones are the goldens. They're all starting to flower. In behind these, I do have 2 nasturtiums, or 3 in this bed. 3 corners have nasturtium. And then at the end of this, I have sunflowers. They're kind of being hidden by the potatoes, which is fine, but there are some sunflowers in here. This one here is, I think, a queen velvet, which is like a red sunflower. We have a giant sunflower here, and then more of the queen red. Now I did put cayenne pepper, trying to battle the ants, and I think I might have killed off some of these, which is really unfortunate. That's my error, trying to get the ants. It's disheartening, but you live and learn. This nasturtium's going for us. Doesn't have potatoes to compete with. So that is my garden, everybody. That noise is my air conditioner. It's so humid. I have hollyhocks coming up in this, and Rebecca coming up in this one, which I'll have to thin, obviously. And that is my other dogwood. If I look back, eventually I'll have white vinyl fencing up to this pot, and from the corner up to this pot with a 4-foot fence or gate. And then the white vinyl fencing will be roughly 3 feet high and go around the whole garden. Well, thanks for stopping by, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm heading back to the pergola now for a relaxing sit, maybe drink some coffee, or get carried away by these little black flies. Until next week, guys. Take care.